few minutes. That's something different. Paul and I were having a conversation, so.
We were about to email you. We're like, oh no, we have the wrong link. So prompt.
No, just kind of got a little out of the world there.
Mhm.
Corey Birch, you got a camera?
I do. I got a webcam. I'm getting it set up.
Okay. I got the cutest thing in the mail from one of my Buffini friends, and it said something about it sent this I can't take it off because it's on my camera now, and it's a little thing that opens and closes the door of the camera. You guys have seen them. It's just a little shutter, and it came with a card that said, if I can't see you, nobody else, I don't want anybody else to see you. That was really cute.
I have it on my laptop. It's right there. Is that what you're talking about? Covers over-
Yeah.
I got the same one in the mail and I love it.
Yeah. I thought that was such a cute idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I put it right up. I was like, oh, I can do this. This doesn't take a screwdriver, nothing. I can do this quick. So, but then when I turned my Zoom on this morning, I was like, that's all black and fuzzy. And I thought, oh, my door's closed. Yeah. All right. So how's everybody doing? Let's do a little recap. How's everybody doing? What's going on? We're on week 9. We're more than halfway there with 100 Days to Greatness. So you guys feel like it? Here's the question. What do you feel? What is different today than 9 weeks ago?
That's a good question.
Two things that are different today than they were 9 weeks ago, where it has to do with your business. Remember one of the first things that you guys all said, let me just give you a reminder, something that you did not have a lot of was confidence. So where's your confidence now? On a scale of maybe 1 to 10, and where's your competence on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'll just wait.
I'll go first. This is Jennifer, just to get everybody going.
Hi, Jennifer. Good job. I'll give you a prize. Did we have a prize for that?
Sure.
So I'm going to say 50% on both. So 5 and 5, right?
Okay.
I wasn't very confident at the beginning, and my competency was definitely not there. I feel that it has grown substantially just in the last 2 weeks, just because I've had the opportunity. I've been working with my mentor. I've just had a lot of different opportunities to learn different things. So I think that it's been great, especially the last 2 weeks.
Well, you finally got a mentor too, because you didn't have one for a long time. So that kind of helped.
Yeah. No, it's been great. She's been fantastic, and I've been learning so much. And so it's been really good.
Who's your mentor, Jennifer?
Christy, last name?
Wojcicki.
Wojcicki.
Yes. I didn't want to just totally mutilate it. So thank you.
Yeah, she's great. She's really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Who's going to step up next?
So,
Katie Boyle.
yeah, I would definitely say competency and, you said and confidence has definitely increased, but I think I have been super happy with how I've really gotten my database. When I first started, I just had this kind of random Excel spreadsheet that I had kept all my names and people in, so I've really been focusing on making sure that I have that, and it's helped me develop the system with my notes and with my pop buys and emails and things like that too. So that's been super helpful, as have these meetings. It's nice to connect with people.
For you, this is a question for you. And I know it's really hard for you because you have another job at the same time, like a pretty intense job. What has been the one most helpful piece out of this whole program for you?
Ooh, where do I begin? I think the system and the structure with knowing, we've got our Buffini videos that we watch each week, and the resources in there are fantastic. But I think that these meetings where we get, I did say in my feedback to Rhonda, gosh, I really wish they were face to face, but I get that we can't right now. But I think just being able to hear other people's ideas, get that, a couple weeks ago when we did our value statements with, what value we provide, that really helped me with honing in on my buyer packet a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I need some more time, I think, to think about that, because that's a really, really good question.
Okay. So you'd say your confidence is at 50 and your competence is at 50 also? Was that what you said, or didn't you not say that?
Well,
What's your numbers for 1 to 10?
I feel like I started at about a 3, and I put myself at about a 6, because I still feel like I've
Okay.
got room to grow.
On both things?
Mhm.
Okay. Fantastic.
And it depends on what day you ask me.
Yeah. Jennifer, where do you think you started?
I'm I'm gonna say probably, I don't know, this is an entirely new industry for me. And so I'm gonna say probably right around a 1 on
Okay.
both. Just because I just didn't know what I didn't know. And that's my issue.
What was your industry before?
Marketing and communications.
I think it's the same industry, but
Well, it's a different product. It's a whole
different product. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Who's next?
I can go. I feel like, I don't know about, I guess I don't have a number in mind necessarily, but in terms of things like the marketing and packets and having all those in place makes me feel more confident, because before it was like, they were somewhat intimidating to get in order, and you needed to have the competency to know what actually to put in those materials. And doing things like just doing a bulk mail now just demystifies the process. And now I have a template for myself that I'm pretty much ready to go with April once I have the March numbers. So things like that on the marketing side are good. On the actual process side, anything from contract to close is still a big mystery to me. I really don't know.
Okay.
I would love more insight.
Contract to close is still big mystery. Raise your hands if that's applies to all of you. Contract to close. Okay. We're gonna really nail down on that, Tim. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Clearly, that's
Yeah.
Really even just little things like, and I can go through this with my mentor. I just hate to take up every mentor's time on some of these small things, but like even entering things like the lip sheet and that sort of thing into where they need to go and processing things through the MLS. Those sort of things are like, haven't been forced to do it. So it's still kind of a big question. And I'm sure once I do it once, it'll be totally fine, but just some quick rundown.
Sure.
Of that sort of thing.
Yeah, those linear kinds of habits.
Right.
Yeah, those are hard for all of us, by the way, no matter how many years go by. I mean, Tim,
Yep.
you have somebody that does that for you
Yep.
in Rhonda. So if you have to sit down and do it yourself, I'm sure you have to think about it. I do the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing. I'm like, oh my God, Laura's not here. What the hell am I supposed to do? Where is this supposed to go? Or what did I miss? That's my biggest question, is what did I miss? I think that's more than anything is
I wrote a purchase agreement a couple days ago, and it was the first time I had written a purchase agreement in like a year.
Wow.
And I didn't realize it because I have somebody who does it for me. That's not necessarily a good thing. When I read them on the listing, and I know exactly where to look and what to do, but filling one out is a whole different ballgame.
especially with the new one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I did the same thing because Laura fills out all of ours. I say, here, we're going to put this in here. We're going to put this in here. What do you think of this? But yeah, you're right. Because it becomes rote to a lot of people. Okay. So all of the women have stepped up here. We have 4 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Paul.
So I'd say my confidence level is at an 8, and I am genetically born with a high confidence level, so that's not always a good thing. Sometimes it often outpaces my actual competency. But I feel pretty confident, and what I really like about the program is the Buffini has given me all the processes, or a lot of the processes, you know, to really understand how to build and market, you know, a real estate practice. So that's been fantastic. I'd say my competency level's at a 5, and I think it's just some of what the others said. You know, I've had some contracts and stuff like that, but I mean, still, I don't feel like I'm at the expertise level. It's the nuts and the bolts and the real estate ready. I feel much better right now about the business than I do the real estate ready task.
Okay.
Yeah.
And real estate ready task being, I got a client, they want to write an offer, or I'm going to put a house on the market. Where's the comfort level and all that? Okay.
Yep.
Do you think that has to do with just experience in the options and negotiation?
It's hard to answer since I don't know what I don't know. You know, typically that type of stuff does come with experience, but I mean, I also ask myself, and I hear you guys just talk about this just a minute ago, how much value is it really in how much value is it really in becoming proficient at writing a contract? Is that really a valuable use of my time? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to know how to do it. Do
Yeah.
you sit in an office by yourself, or do you have other people around you?
I sit in an office by myself unless my children are in here.
Okay. So one of the things I will say that was probably one of the most helpful things for me was when I started out with an experienced agent being in an office with a team, and we were in the office like a lot, but listening to her and listening to all of the different kinds of things that were happening in the actual negotiation of the transaction before it even happened. And then when I moved, when we came to Omaha, and I was already 6 years into it, and Tim and I got together and got our team together, I learned so much about negotiation from just listening to him. And I always thought it was, and this is kind of ignorant, but I always thought negotiation was somebody wins, somebody loses. And even though that's not naturally how I feel about things, it was always that was how it had to be. And there were so many agents that did business that way. We win, you lose. There was never this like, how do we try to get to the middle? We used to present offers to the actual clients, the sellers themselves. Tim, remember those days? Where you'd have to sit down with the sellers and the seller's agent and present your offer. And so it was a lot different kind of interaction. But listening to Tim always worked towards, and this is a suggestion to all of you, is spend a couple of days in an office with somebody who is actively interacting with clients, or if you ask them if you can listen in while they're interacting with clients, while they're putting a deal together or they're negotiating a deal, you will learn so much about all of the different kinds of options. And that actually, one of the things I think Tim taught me, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your skirt here, Tim, is you can do anything. You can figure anything out that the buyer and the seller agree on. Anything. There's no cut and dry, like it only can be this way.
Everything is negotiable, and our job is just to make them feel like you got their back and have their back. And like Brian Buffini always says, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do. People ask you to do the most ridiculous things or the most ridiculous requests to the seller. Let me see what I can do. And you can go a long way with that attitude.
Yeah, but I think actually listening, Indian Hills office was actually one of the best offices for that too, because even if you sat in the middle, you could hear everybody because there was no ceilings. You could hear everybody talking, and you pick that up from other people. And that's the nuts and bolts that I never wanted to embarrass myself with. like to even suggest something that would be like the other agent would be like, are you kidding me? No way, that would never happen. Are you dumb? I can remember when Laura was a new agent and somebody said to her, oh, she was so mad. Are you a new agent? Don't you know anything? That's the kind of thing you don't want anybody to say to you. And so you avoid actually coming forth with some possibilities. So that's kind of my it's an important piece that Tim and I are just talking about right now is being able to listen and watch. And I think Tim, you are one of the best negotiators for getting people to the center. I've gotten really good at it because of you.
Well, thanks.
But I think there's other people who also are. Who do you think, Tim? Like, Tim, who do you think are good
The best-
agent negotiators
Oh,
that they can learn from? Like, who would you,
well, Dawn Grimshaw, she goes right to the top for me. Your team leader, she's a brilliant negotiator. Off the cuff, she's going to be the one I would go to first for that.
April Tucker is a good one.
April Tucker, yeah. The problem with April, she like me, she talks really fast,
Yeah.
and
she
some
does.
people going over contracts, they needed to slow down. I'm
Yeah.
aware I'm rapid. I'm aware. So, Krista Luther, she's just
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. Krista's
Yeah.
really good too.
Yeah.
Jill Sleddens is very
Jill
good.
Sweat's- Mhm. Yeah.
Jill
And
Sleddens.
she's at the Indian Hills office. So you can go there and just catch her and listen to her talk.
Yeah. We're naming all women here, by the way.
That's true. I
Yeah.
guess it's a women dominated industry.
Actually, Mark Gorup, I'm in a thing with Mark Gorup right now, and it was not an easy transaction. And I really felt very respected and very that it was a very fair transaction on both sides. So
Good.
yeah, there's a lot of them. So ask somebody and just listen. So okay, who's next? Corey?
So I would say that when I started, my confidence was probably a little higher than what it should have been because my competency was pretty low. And I think it's good to say that I don't think my confidence has grown a whole lot, but I feel like my competency has matched my confidence now. And I think that's been a big part is now I don't have to feel like I have to fake it to win it. I think I'm
Right.
actually there now. So I think that's a big part.
What would you give those as numbers from 1 to 10?
I would say probably at a 7.
Okay, good. These are fantastic. This tells me a whole lot, you guys.
It really does.
Yeah. All right, who else here? Dennis, you want to talk? Scott?
I
Whoever.
mean, so my competence, I would say from the marketing standpoint has gotten better. I'm struggling confidence wise, and I don't think that it's this class related. I think it's just the market. I've been like this weekend, I worked 2 12-hour days out showing houses. I wrote multiple offers and got nothing back. I mean, if I had had the number of buyers I was working with last year, I would have sold 6 houses in March, and so far I've got 1, and it was a builder. So the confidence part I'm struggling with, but I think it's more the market I think it's more the market than the class. I mean, writing strong offers. I wrote 25,000 over on a house, no inspections. Gave them their title company, gave them, every contingency that they asked for, and we were in the top 10. So
How many offers?
19.
What was this house price wise?
It was 250,
Jesus.
and we actually offered 270, and we offered 5,000 in sellers real estate expenses. So I don't know, just struggling. I don't know how to get there.
What one?
It was 147th and Elm.
Oh, no, but which offer won? What was it that won?
She didn't say.
Tim, you have any words for this? This is a big subject, but
Well, the only thing I can say is this won't last. That's all I can say is that it won't always last, and the market's gonna soften. We will see more inventory. We will see interest rates rise a little bit. We will see buyers fall out. We will see forbearances slow down and more houses come on the market, and foreclosures will start kicking in. We're going to see a change. This is just a really, really bad market. But I still maintain it's not going to crash. It's just going to soften. When I was a brand new agent in the late 90s, my Edna Richter was my mentor. And she's taught me all sorts of really wonderful things. But one of the first things I remember saying that the only guarantee in real estate is that it's going to change. And then it goes up and down. And the markets always go up and down. And I've seen it happen just like she told me. How it comes in waves. And she also talks about how when the market's really good, a lot of the successful realtors will open up their small brokerages, boutique brokerages. And then when the market gets tough, they all shrink up and go back to big offices again. It was just interesting to hear the things she would talk about. But I feel bad for the buyers right now. I know that the appraisal issue is another big issue that people are going through. We're seeing people willing to pay over appraisal. We as a collective whole are not seeing it go too crazy too much, but it's getting, I don't think the paying over appraisal situation is going to get much worse than it is now. And I think that's actually going to get better as well. That's just my gut feeling. I'm living on hope and experience and not letting it stress me out. And it's a tough time for buyers. So none of that made you feel better.
yeah.
I'm aware.
It makes me feel better because I do feel like, we kind of had gone into this, we were like, oh, we're going to have so many transactions by the end of it. And I feel like my people would be in a home right now if it were a more normalized market. And so trying to not let that stress me out that we're not hitting those transactions, but the activity is there. I think it does make me feel better.
Well, you also, like he said, there was 19 offers on that house. It's become wildly unpredictable. I had a house in Field Club that's a $280,000 house, cream of the crop, the cream puff, the kind of house people are looking for. And I only had 5 offers. Only 5. I know, only 5. But still, that's a lot easier to compete with. Okay. I will say, I don't think anybody in this room showed my listing. One of the things I did is that when I put the house on the market, like on a Friday or something, I use the showing service to schedule all the showings. And then the night before, I send an email I create an email template. And I send an email out to everybody that's showing that property. And it just says, thanks for showing my listing. I appreciate you showing this home. I talk a little bit more about it. I talk about the seller situation, the seller's motivation. I also gave some tips. One of them was that cash is not necessarily king. So I don't want everybody to feel intimidated and that they can still write an offer. I don't know what else I said in there. I did include a copy of the disclosure and a copy of the pre-inspection, which we did. And then I just said that we were going to be looking at offers Sunday night and that my sellers, not everybody can do this, but I had a pre-conversation with my seller. I just said, my sellers promise we will not accept an offer early. And I put that in writing. And I say that we want to be fair, we want to be honest, we know it's a tough market. And I really did this to try to, I feel like so many more buyers would make offers if they were less intimidated.
Yeah, I like that.
And so it worked really, really well. I got responses from every single agent. Every single agent responded, even if they didn't write an offer. It was setting the tone at the beginning of professionalism. I also told them that I would, on Sunday night, that I would send everybody in that said they were sending me an offer, an email letting them know how many offers I have. And I did. So at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, I let everybody know that I had 4 offers at that time. So we just kept to our word and we were trying to be honest and fair. And then the next day when I had to turn the 4 offers down, I made the phone calls and turned those 4 offers down. I know Carol has said that before. That is absolutely imperative. Yeah. And if you make that phone call right, the realtor will feel comfortable enough to cry in front of you.
Ugly cry. Ugly cry.
So Tim, when I talk about competence, I mean, I'm so glad you brought that example up. So I listed a house last week and even before you just verbalizing that, I noted what you did last week, and I had already jotted down, it's like 4 or 5 things. It's like,
Oh, that's right. You showed it. You showed that, didn't you? Did you get
I
that
did.
email?
Yes,
right.
I did. But I saw you did 4 or 5 things, and I'm just like, oh, that's just so much better. Like here's one thing that I did last week, and it's just like I picked up off what you did. So the house that I listed, it went live on Thursday. So I submitted the sign and everything, and then, but like, what I liked about what you did is you actually listed that house on Monday or earlier in the week, and then it was like it's not going to show till Friday. So like your sign was out, you had all of this back, and I mean you had all of this pre-information, and I was like, oh, that's just so much better. and so I mean, to me, that's the type of stuff. I don't know if it comes with experience. I don't know if it comes with asking better questions, but you know, it's just such a sharper process.
Well,
I
I
think
agree.
it also comes with confidence too, Paul. The confidence that the house is going to sell. It's set well. There's time to take a breath. And it's not all this like get the pictures taken on Thursday afternoon, you put the listing in, Friday morning it starts showings, and then everything just breaks loose. I think it's in and it's also in having systems where you know that you've got houses like we have right now, like 9 different things coming up on our board that we keep this even in our house. You can see there's this board here. We have like 9 different things that are coming up, but we have them all like put out for our convenience, you know, the timing on them. And I think that's one of the other things that Tim and many agents do. Other ones are just like so freaking happy and they want to check that they just throw it on the market. And I mean, I know you guys are dealing with the same thing. There's so many pieces of shit out there that are being marketed, and that piece is not gonna last, because after people go through 8 or 9 offers and they're frustrated and they're ready to bail, they're not going to bail on some piece of shit that they're overpaying for and not getting any guarantees. So patience right now, and then working on some other forms of generating business and listings that we're not even maybe thinking about, which I'll talk to you a little bit about our ATA tomorrow, what that's going to be. So, yeah, this is a great conversation, and this is exactly why I kind of sensed that we need to take the temperature. So,
I did just send that email to all of you.
did you send it to me too? Good, thank you. That's a really, really good idea, Tim, and that's very generous of you to share it, because that helps the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing, Tim, that I really liked about that was the nailing down. We're not going to discuss offer, or we're not going to take an early offer. Yeah. Because I actually had that come up and it was a verbal. And so I went over and talked about it. And then the offer ended up not even coming. And right. I just thought this just would have been so much better if the expectation had been set. And this is, you know. And
here's my other attitude. If somebody, they throw an offer out there and they say, well, we need to know right now, otherwise we're going to go somewhere else. Or if they just say, you know, and it's a great offer, because that's the reason sellers often accept an offer early, is because it's just so good they don't want to lose it. Well, if it's just that good, they will wait a couple of days. They will wait. Yeah. And if they don't, then there's going to be another one. I just think people are short-sighted by accepting an offer in 5 minutes.
Yeah. And if it is that good, it shows such intent by the buyer that intent will stay. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Paul, did you sell your West Side?
No, I got a couple coming through it today, but yeah, I mean, we had like a hot, ready to go contract, and I went over to talk to him, and you know, lesson learned. It was wait till it's in hand, and kind of set up. Hey, we're gonna wait till the weekend, and yeah.
Okay, well, it's a nice house, because I know you were looking at the one ours.
Yeah. It's expensive. Yeah, I mean,
yours is a little on the high end, but ours was too, but it was completely done. But we closed on Friday on that, so thank God, hallelujah.
Good for you.
Okay, who has not spoken? Scott?
I have not spoken. I would say I ebb and flow between 4s and 5s. I started out fairly confident and got deflated with a couple reality checks, I guess you could say. Mostly due to what I don't know, and kind of every question that I get answered, 2 more pop up. So my competence just sort of hovers where it's at, I guess.
Mhm.
Went on a first listing appointment yesterday, and kind of unrealistic expectations out of the buyer, I'm afraid. I have yet to perform my full market analysis, but
You mean by the seller?
yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, the seller. Yes, the seller. And she's kind of halfway through a remodel, and she doesn't know. She wants to walk away, sell it as is, but she also wants move-in ready price for it. And so I have a feeling of fairly tough conversations coming. I'm in that weird position where I really want to grab it and do what she wants to do, but I don't want to waste everyone's time.
How can we help you?
either.
Let's talk about this, because this is a live one on the table. Tim, anybody else wants to jump in?
Well, let's see what anybody else has to say first.
Yeah.
Before I jump in. Anybody?
So what do you got, Scott? Give us some stats and where
Well,
realistic.
right off the bat, there's the question of kind of what qualifies as a bedroom. When she bought it 2 years ago, and it was a 2-bedroom, but she then knocked out a wall and made one of the smaller bedrooms into this huge kind of walk-in closet and moved the door on that. The downstairs could be a 3rd bedroom. There's no egress window, but it exits from the laundry room into the garage. So it's this weird gray area where it's anything from a 1 to a 3 bedroom, and I don't quite know how to quantify those bedrooms.
Based on what you just described to me, it sounds like a 1-bedroom.
Right, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, the basement, there's very little gray area. Either there has to have an egress directly from the room right outside, either through a door or a window, an egress window, and having to go through another room doesn't count.
Okay.
And when it's something as important as a bedroom, you have to make sure that it actually legally complies. Because if you advertise it as a bedroom and they use it as a bedroom and died in a fire, you would be responsible. So
Right.
that's one of the few times you're going to hear a scary thing, but it really is important what you call a bedroom. And then if she merged that first and second one, without seeing it, it sounds like it's a 1-bedroom. Now, good, she still has square footage and she has updates, so the values still can be there. Number of bedrooms is not the only criteria.
Right.
As far as egress is concerned too, Scott, there's an exact measurement. I always put this stuff in my notes in my phone just because it gets called on. And basically a fireman has to be able to fit through that with all their equipment on. So, and it has to be the right measurement, the right length from the floor, from the ceiling. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Katie, you had something?
Actually, yeah. So our Facebook group, Better Homes, because this is a question I had too, Scott. This last week, an agent posted like the minimum width of the opening and the minimum height.
Oh, I read that actually.
So I just put that in my notes in my phone too, just because I feel like even when we go show houses, people will say, "Does this count as a bedroom?" And when I first started off, I had to kind of think, "Oh, I don't know." So.
And to be honest, Carol's description, like a fire person with their equipment has to get through it, that's actually really legit. And that's a good way of thinking about it.
Katie, do
I have
you
one of
have
those
those
little-
measurements to shout out?
70 square feet for the room space. I don't have the window on now.
Well, and this was what an agent said. So, and I didn't verify the accuracy, but 20 inches minimum height of the opening, minimum width of opening, 20 inches, minimum height of opening, 24 inches, and maximum height from ground from the bottom sill is 44 inches. So that's
20, 24, and 44.
I don't know if a firefighter would fit through that.
No, 20 inches sounds tight. I'm thinking my husband was a firefighter. I could ask him if he might actually know. One sec.
one other thing that I want to point out, Scott, is, so let's make lemonade out of lemons here. The biggest part of your job with this would be the marketing and verbiage that you do in front of this. Because people are right now looking for space that they can put people in and get away from each other. So yes, on MLS, it's only going to see, you're only going to see, 2 bedrooms plus, 3 bedrooms plus, 1 bedroom plus, whatever. You'll have minimums that people don't even go into that category. However, so much of what we're doing right now, and if it's priced in the market that sells no matter what it is done between agent to agent, in your agent advertising and your MailChimp, and you're putting out all agents at Better Homes, that you could do a lot and just say something about that. This could be a 3 spaces, 3 bedroom office spaces with nice. I mean, maybe if they took out a bedroom, maybe they made it into a nice master suite. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. It just, don't get shut down by the basic elements that we all are driven by. So just a suggestion.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And look at, one really good thing to do, go to MLS, look for 1 bedroom places, and then look at the verbiage that they use, because most of them will say something else in there. So you can, but somebody else has probably already gotten magic words for you. I do that.
1 bedroom. I've sold houses that were 1 bedrooms, and they're not necessarily cheap. The number of bedrooms is most certainly a factor, but it's not the only factor. So you can still get your value up with a 1 bedroom house.
I had 1 bedroom houses that were 2,000 square feet plus. And legally there was only 1 bedroom because, that 87th Avenue one that we just sold, we were gonna make it into 2 bedrooms upstairs instead of 3, and then we did add the 1 downstairs with an egress. But I mean, there's all kinds of different configurations. So
I had a friend downtown that had a 5,000 square foot condo that was 1 bedroom. It was basically a giant entertainment space.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just tried about 6 weeks ago to buy in Elmwood. It was listed as a 1 bedroom near Elmwood Park, but it was really 3 with just a real easy modifications, and I thought I was going to be able to steal it because it was listed as 1 bedroom, but it ended up going, I think, for $15,000 over a list.
People are reading stuff. They're not just looking at the basics. They're going. That's my point is people are going under it now instead of in it, just in it. So yeah, good one.
It is 24 inches and 20 inches, but there has to be a net opening of 5 square feet. So it sounds like it wouldn't be 24 by 20. One of those has to be larger.
Yeah. Okay, did everybody talk?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, great. So this week is kind of just exacerbation of last week's listings, part 1, part 2. This one he did the actual going into the house, doing the listing appointment, walking the house, talking to them. I think we talked a lot about all this. We kind of moved ourselves into part 2 last week, right? Did you guys have any questions from watching this week, put together with last week, just about listings in general?
I had a question. When he refers to price reduction, I'm hearing a lot of agents that their strategy is to instead cancel and relist. I'm just curious about a discussion on that, reasonings for one or the other, and what you guys think is a better strategy.
Okay, who wants to talk about that?
Well, I have a lot to say. So
That's what we're here for, Tim.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the cancel relist because they feel it's deceitful, it's dishonest, you're canceling it, it's almost like you're starting over. Unfortunately, it's a tool we have to use sometimes. So if I have a home that has been on the market for a while and it's struggling and I want to breathe it new life, I will cancel relist it, but only with dramatic changes. A price change, new photos, maybe some updates or alterations in the home. No, I won't just cancel and relist just to make it look fresh. We actually treat it like a new listing. So the most important thing, I won't do a cancel relist unless there's at least a significant price difference, and I usually mean about $10,000. Well, I guess that it could be 5,000, but it needs to be a price change. That's how I use cancel relists. I have a house right now in Council Bluffs that I'm anxiously trying to sell, and I've canceled and relisted it a few times. Complete price change, all new photos, new public remarks. We painted the house. There were reasons that we canceled and relisted it. Now that's me. You will see some agents that just say, screw it, I'm canceling and relist it to breathe new life into it. I don't think it's a giant problem. I don't think it's a big problem, but the only way around it is every time you just type in the address and see if it was listed before, how often do we do that? Not very. So that's my feelings. Dennis, you've been in the business for more than you all, so is Corey. What is your experience with cancel relist? Or even if you do it yourself, other people?
I've done cancel relist for price change before, and smart buyers, people who have been looking for a while, I've had buyers that have said, hey, this one came up as a new listing, but it's been listed before. This has shown up on my list before. So you're not really fooling buyers, but you may be, reintroducing it to new buyers, especially if you cross like a $10,000 threshold where they put, like 270 is their max. And if you were listed at 275 and you drop it to 265, then it's showing up as a new listing to people that are searching in a different price range.
It puts it in front of those people again, is what it does. Yeah. Now with my existing listings, I will change the photos once a week, and I change the public remarks once a week, just because buyers, 93% of all serious home buyers are registered on one of their favorite websites. And they think they're just getting new listings, but they're also getting listings that have had a change to them. And so if I have a new angle, it's going to pop up into their feed, and it's going to look a little different. It's going to sound a little different. They'll immediately recognize it, but it gets in front of them one more time. The last thing I will say about this, the thing about cancel and relist is on Zillow, if you care about Zillow, it still shows the cumulative days. So it doesn't start fresh on Zillow. Corey, how about your experience, good or bad, with cancel relists?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You're not really faking anybody out by doing a cancel relist. It's just a refresh for it, facelift.
Yeah. Cool. Does that help you, Kathy, with cancel relist questions?
Yeah, it's just interesting to hear that some agents do it one way and others do it the other. And I just wasn't sure if there's like a proper way, or, just good to hear some discussion.
Well, so on that note, what have you seen different than what we just described? Have you seen people just willy-nilly cancel and relist with no changes?
No, they do include a price reduction. So yeah, but not necessarily anything else is new.
So you're not going to see as much of that right now, but there are other, in most markets, it happens a lot. And when it's happening. It's not like it's something that happens and nobody can tell. Everybody knows that it's happened. So I think it's just a matter of the market, the price range, how far off were you? You want to even take a breath in between? Could there possibly be like some time frame that needs to pass, or they need a time frame to pass to take a breath? It's just there's all kinds of different reasons for it, and it's something I'd bounce off of somebody else at the time that it's happening to see whether that's the right thing to do. I'm seeing a lot of relists now that are at what they're selling for, the pending price.
Yeah.
So they're taking, they're taking and going to the penny price, which is, I think good for the appraisal market, but who knows, there's nothing, nowhere to run or hide. Like everything we do is very obvious and it can be seen. So,
I did see a listing that we had offered on immediately changed their price once they had accepted an offer. So I just thought that was interesting. I'm sure it was for appraisal purposes.
I had an agent tell me that they showed a house that was 180 and it was not worth it. It was not worth it. I'm like, it doesn't matter whether it's worth it.
Real estate.
2 days later, it showed up as a 190. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. So this is none of us. You could accumulate all of our brains together of the people who've been doing this for longer than 10, 15 years, and you're going to get nothing out of any of us that is predictive right now, including the people that are, a lot higher than us and have been doing, maybe doing it the same amount of time, but it's a completely different market than we've ever seen before. So.
Can I ask a question real quick on kind of a different type of topic, but still in the seller's market situation?
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Yeah.
I have an individual that is thinking about putting their house up, and I was going to go do a CMA, and I noticed that houses that were comparable to theirs hasn't really sold anytime soon. Like the last one that was comparable sold in 2015. So I don't really know how to give a market analysis based on that, or there's no houses active or new in their area that are for sale.
Did you go out around?
I did the zip code.
What's unusual about their home? Just basically describe it. And what area?
It's in District 66.
Okay.
It's in Prairie Lane. It's a three-car garage, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's a high sought-after neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when I go and look at the CMA, if I go look at other houses, nothing's really sold in that area.
Mm-hmm.
How many
That
square feet?
matches the criteria. The square feet.
You start expanding your criteria.
Okay.
First of all, Prairie Lane is an outstanding location,
Mm-hmm.
and you will not have a problem finding comps to support almost anything because it's in the middle of all sorts of expensive spots. So if you try narrowing it down to bedrooms or bathrooms or garage space or even style, you're going to narrow it down too much. I would start with a radius of what's sold in that area. And in your situation, square footage and condition might be your base to start your assessment with, and then building on from there. That's one of the reasons I love old homes is there isn't a single another comparison out there. There isn't cookie cutter. Everything is different. And when I'm comparing homes on the east side of town, I don't necessarily compare 1 stories to 2 stories or 2.5 stories. I mean, ranches are premium. I try to cut out the ranches, but beyond that, the style, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you do need specific help with this market analysis because you found a tougher home that is unlike any home in the area, but you just need help with the CMA.
Okay.
Yeah, and just reach out to any agents that have experience in those areas too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my toughest. My toughest was, briefly, 30 seconds. I listed a home at 24th and Lake for $540,000. And this was about 6 years ago. Now, on the surface, you're going to say, what the hell? It was a neighborhood of new homes up on the hill, very nice neighborhood. No home has ever sold in Northeast Omaha for that price. And well, it's more like 8 years ago. It doesn't matter. I had to leave the nowhere I was finding other homes that were very, 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 very comparable, but they were in Northwest Omaha. I had tons of comparables, tons of them. They just weren't nowhere near this house. And that's what I used. And it appraised for $540,000.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was a tough one. That was the hardest appraisal assessment I've ever.
So we have 5 more minutes. And I
Thank
want
you.
you guys to take a little break before we start on our ATA, which is going to start in 5 minutes.
AMA.
I'm sorry, AMA, Agents Mentoring Agents, which is going to be Raquel And I hope you brought questions because we're going to stare at you if you didn't bring questions. So, because she's got answers, great answers. In fact, I'm sure we're going to run right up to the time. So, and then also tomorrow is Brad Knoll, and Brad is going to be talking about some dynamic stuff. He's from Indiana. He owns the brokerage, and he has a successful team, small team. He's a younger guy, and they have done this campaign that is basically the campaign is, what are you going to do with the equity in your home? Not just like, do you want to list your house? Do you want to sell your house? What are you going to do with the equity in your home? What could we do? And it was so dynamic when he was showing us on another forum. And I just asked him, I said, can you come and just show us? He's done videos. He's exactly from the launch of the campaign to how they continued. And he's got 5 CMAs as a result of this right now, I think that he's doing, and some listings that they've already gotten that never would have come out. And they're all from the people that they already know in their databases. So anyway, I'm real super excited about that tomorrow. So, all right. So 5 minutes and then come back and we will have Raquel leading us. So take a break.
Carol,
Are
would
we
you
still on this page?
What?
Are we still in this Zoom room then, or do we go to a different
No,
Zoom?
same Zoom room.
Okay.
I'm not closing anything. Rhonda's coming in, and just come back. Just
Perfect. Thank you.
Mute yourself and then come back.
And Carol, would you pause the video so that way it'll be easier for me to cut the videos?
I mean, that's what it's there for.
Okay, so let's get ourselves started. Hi. Look at Kathy Shunk joined us today. Hi, Kathy Shunk.
Hey.
Dana Poole, Andy Jackson, and Glenda Dupe, and Jennifer, are you coming back? Jennifer Zanker. So everybody, cameras on if you can, please, and let's get going. I'm gonna go ahead and give you agents mentoring agents. We now have a name for you guys, AMA, and so we have APA, AMA, and then we may have some more. So this today is going to be a kind of just a grab bag of everything.